Here we are to continue talking about Swift. This is day 4. We're talking about structs and classes and enums. Currently, we're talking about structs. We did an earlier video on structs, and we talked about the properties and how to define the struct. In this video, what I'd like to do is talk about methods. So methods are functions that belong to your struct, okay? So earlier we saw that a struct could have properties, right? Oops, I guess I passed up the properties here, right? So our struct has T and sweetness, right? Where's the definition? Oh, yeah, there it is, right? So here's my struct, right? And the struct acts as kind of like a collection or a group, like it organizes these properties together in one place. If we have methods that would work with the properties that you have here, or functions that would work with those properties, we can add a function to the struct. And when we add a function to the struct, it's called a method. Okay, so method is just a name for function, and it's a function that belongs to a class or a structure. So let's try this, right? The goal here is to create a new struct called order, right? And it will have a boba drink and a name associated with that drink, so someone can order the drink. And it will also have a function, and the function will print out a description of the order. So here's an example. So if we've got the struct defined here with its properties and its method, and if you created a new order from the order function, it would return an order object with those properties and the method, right? And you'd be able to call on the method print description, right? That's the name of the method. You'd be able to call on it from your order instance with a dot. Okay, and the goal here is that the print description method should print out this message, right? So it'll print this out, and it'll have to get it'll have the name here as a property, so you can just use the name, but you'll notice that when it prints out the name of the T, it has to get that from the instance of the T here, right? And the same thing with the sweetness and the has boba, right? So try that on your own, and then I'll walk through the solution. Okay, so how did you do, right? Let's try that together. So I've got my create order method here, and then I've got my order struct up here. So the method is going to go in, or the function that we add is going to go inside the struct. It's not going to go in the create order method or create order function, right? So this is just like a helper that makes an order, right? It makes a new order and then returns that order. It makes the boba drink and passes it in, right? But here, since the order is going to own the print method, we need to put the print method here. So let's do func, and I'm going to just call mine describe. It's actually kind of a common thing. So it'll just be describe rather than print description. And now the goal is to print the order. So we're going to say print. And what I want to do is I want to take the name and put it here. So I'll use the slash parentheses to grab this name and put it here. And then we'll say ordered, and then we'll say the type of drink. So it'll be slash parentheses boba dot T. So that'll say the T type, like jasmine. Wait, let me read this again. So what does it say? It says name ordered, name of tea, and then it'll just say boba tea afterwards. Okay, and then comma sweetness, comma with boba. Okay, great. So we'll say boba tea, comma sweetness will be the number. So we'll do slash parentheses boba dot sweetness, and then I want the percent there, so I'll put the percent outside the parentheses, and then we'll say sweetness and comma, and then now we got to say has boba, or no, it'll say with boba or without boba, right? So what we'll do is we're going to put the with and without here, and then follow it with the word boba, right? So now somewhere in here we got to figure out whether we're going to say with or without, and that's going to be on the has boba property here. I think I forgot to add that, right? So I have this, but it doesn't have the has boba, so we'll have to add that, right? Let's do it. So I'm going to put in the new property here, right? So let's do let has boba is a Boolean, so it'll be true if we have boba. Now, when I change the structure here, you're going to see some changes happen in the rest of my code or some errors, because they're going to say like, hey, you don't have that, that property, right? So these have tea and sweetness, but they don't have the has boba in them, right? So let's fix those. If you see this error message and it looks like a little stop sign with a dot in the middle, if you click on it, if it has the dot, it'll give you the option where you can say fix. And if you do that, it'll just add what it thinks is missing. And usually it's pretty good. Sometimes you can't fix, but some of the problems can fix. So let's say create boba will take, oh shoot, the function here takes in the parameters, right? T type and sweetness. It will also have to take in has boba. So when you call the function, it can have a bool for has boba, and then we can take this has boba and initialize our object with it. Okay, great. So again, create order. It's got, oh, this has the has boba here, but we don't have the has boba here. So I'm going to click on this and choose insert the missing stuff, and we'll fill that in with has boba. Okay, cool. So that got rid of those errors. Now this is updated. Now, if we're here, I should be able to put in boba dot has boba, right? So that's going to be true or false. And you could use an if else, and there's a couple other ways to solve this. I'm going to use the ternary like it showed in the example, because that's a really good way to do it. So if this first expression on the left of the question mark is true, then you'll get the value after the question mark. So if that's true, I'm going to say with boba, right? After the colon, if the expression on the left of the question mark is false, then we'll get the value following the colon. So this will say without. So if has boba is true, then we'll have with boba. It'll say with and then boba. And then if has boba is false, then it'll say without boba. Okay? Awesome. So that's looking pretty good. Oh, I guess I got a couple errors here because these method calls don't have the has boba method right there, right? Or the has boba property. So let's fix that. So, oh, again, we have the little dot there. I'll click on it and choose fix. Oh, Boolean. So let's say this person's going to say has boba is true. And this order right here, I'll click fix again. And this one will be has boba is false. And then I think I'm going to get rid of these two coffee orders here. And I'll get rid of these print statements. And what I want to do is I want to call boba dot describe. Oh, actually, wait a minute. I'm calling create boba, but you know what? We got to create an order, because the order also has the name of the person, right? So the order contains a boba drink and a person. So let's change this right here. Let's say, let's change it here. Let's change it to, let's actually just delete this and rewrite these. Okay, so let's do this. Let's say let, how about Andy order equals create order. T type will be, let's see, how about Andy wants jasmine tea and sweetness of 25%, and name will be Andy. So that's like the order name. Maybe the order name would have been a better name for that property, right? And then has boba will say false. And then I'll create another order here. This will be let Bob order equal create order, and T type will be oolong, sweetness 50%, name Bob, and true for boba. Okay? And now we can print out the order. So what we'll do is, I guess I had already tested this, right? So, so I have that printed from last time, but let's try it here. Let's do Andy order. There, no wonder it didn't show up. And then we'll do dot describe. And you'll see when I put the dot there and start typing, it code hints me because it sees that the describe method belongs to the order instance, right? And then I can do the same thing, Bob order dot describe. Okay, let's run our orders here. So you can see Andy order Andy ordered jasmine boba tea, 25% sweetness with boba. Bob ordered oolong boba tea, 50% sweetness with boba. Oh yeah, and Andy was without. Okay, there you go. So how did you do? Let's try one more thing, right? So the next challenge here is to create a coffee. Here it is. Actually, I was looking for this, right? To create a coffee order. Okay, so if someone orders a coffee, let's create a. Well, actually, wait. Sorry, I made a mistake. This says improve your coffee struct by adding a method to the coffee struct. So we're actually not going to create a new order, but we want a method that describes the coffee. So it'll be a little bit different, right? It'll be the same idea, but it'll, instead of being an order, it's just describing the coffee drink. So that means you'll be adding a function here, and then for any instance of coffee that you create at the bottom, you should be able to call the describe method and print it. And since coffee has bean, sugar, and has milk, you will print out the values here. So you can say something like, I don't know if it gave us a description there. Let's see. Yeah, well, it doesn't really say how they want this printed out. Why don't we just, you can just make that up, right? So let's give it a try here. So let's imagine, like, what you want to do is you want to add a describe method, and you want to say, how about, let's write it like this to remind us that this is going to be the bean type with number percent sugar, right? So this will be like the, actually let's write it like this. This will be sugar and, or we'll say, let's say with/without milk, okay? So give that a try on your own, and then I'll go over the solution. Okay, how did you do? Okay, let's give it a try. So I'll start here with function, describe, print quotes, and now we'll put the bean type in here, slash parentheses, we'll do bean, and then we'll say with slash parentheses and sugar percent. And now we want to say with or without milk. So we'll do slash parentheses and we'll say has milk. That's a Boolean, right? So if it's true, we'll get the value after the question mark. And if it's false, we'll get the value after the colon. So let's say has milk. And if it's like has milk, we'll say with milk. And then we'll say over here, we'll say without. And then I can put the milk outside there. Okay? And then we can test this out, right? So I actually deleted my coffee order, so maybe I'll do a new coffee order here. So I'll say let, let's call this one black coffee, right? So black coffee equals create coffee. Bean type will be, I don't know, what's another bean type? I don't know any bean types. Let's say Brazil, right? I don't know. Maybe like that could be the origin of the beans, right? And then the sweetness level will be 0%, right? If you're having black coffee. And then has milk will be false, right? Okay. and then we'll say let what other kind of coffee is there? I don't know what you call coffee that has a lot of milk in it. We'll say other coffee, right? Equals create coffee. Bean will be I don't know another bean type. Let's say other bean, and then the sweetness level will be 50%, and actually let's make it 75%, right? 100%. There we go, right? And then the has milk will be true. Okay, and now we can call the describe method on either instance of our coffee, right? So let's say black coffee dot describe method and other coffee dot describe. Okay, and now we'll run our code again. So let's run it, and it says Brazil with 0% with put. Wait, I misspelled something. Anyway, it is working. My spelling is not working, but the method is working. I said with. Oh, actually, wait, without. I did with put, so I put that. Let me see if I can fix that, right? Oh yeah, here it is. Without milk, right? Without milk. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope that helps you out solving those problems. And then we'll continue in the next video, and we're going to talk about classes and enums next.